Okay, so you've probably clicked onto this video because you've got some problem, situation or obstacle that's come up in your life and it's got you feeling a little stressed, upset, maybe even overwhelmed. You might even feel like the task before you is impossible. Life can sometimes throw things at us that catches us off guard. Sometimes even multiple things at once. And this can lead us to feeling afraid, frustrated, angry, confused, and sometimes even helpless. And trust me, I've been there before. I know how it feels. But I'm here to tell you that whatever it is that you're going through right now, you will get through it. And it probably isn't as bad as you think it is. So without further ado, let's go through the 10 ways that you can get through the times when life is feeling a little difficult. Okay, so number 1 is to just accept it. Remember, no amount of worry, complaining, or beating yourself up is going to change the situation or obstacle before you. So you may as well accept it. You see, what you resist persists. Just like in nature, if you apply friction to anything, it creates heat. So if you try to resist or push against your obstacle in your life, then it's only going to make the situation worse. This isn't to say that you can't take a minute to think to yourself, well, this sucks. Just don't stay in that mindset for too long, because it will prevent you from moving forward. Instead, do what Gavin de Becker advises in his book, The Gift of Fear. When you worry, ask yourself these 2 questions. What am I choosing not to see right now? And what important things are missing because I'm choosing worry over introspection, alertness, or wisdom? Or put simply, does worrying about the situation I'm now in really provide me with more options? Most likely, the answer is no. And this leads us onto our second point. So the second point is to change your perspective. You see, each of us chooses the way we perceive the world. So it's important to ask ourselves whether our perception is giving us perspective or whether our perception is actually causing the problem. You see, the problems in our life are never usually as bad as we think they are. Or to put it another way, they're precisely as bad as we think they are. You see, a right or a wrong perspective determines everything. Or as the late Wayne Dyer once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay, so number 3 is take action. When difficulties come up in our life, what's the most natural thing that we all do? We ignore them. We pretend that they're not there. We pretend that they're not happening. Some people go out and party, others treat themselves, sleep in, or worst of all, wait, as if the problem will somehow just unproblem itself. But we know deep down that doing these things isn't going to make the situation go away or be any better. So what we need to do instead is act. Robert Frost once said, the only way out is through. You see, a lot of the time we may actually know what to do about the problems in our life, but we fear doing anything because we don't want to have to go through that initial uncomfortable feeling that you go through when you start to face some of the problems in your life and actually do something about them. Or we might even feel like it's just too much and we won't be able to make it through it. But both of these are completely false conceptions because you have to get started to go anywhere. And once you do get started, you'll find that it will naturally start to build momentum. Oprah Winfrey once said, what matters is now. And your willingness to accept this moment for what it is, forgive the past, take responsibility, and move forward. Okay, so number 4 is find the opportunities within the obstacles. Now, we've already spoken about the importance of perspective, but this takes it a step further. It means seeing through the seemingly negative situation and finding its positive. You see, we're all presented with obstacles in our life from time to time. Oftentimes when we least expect them or when we really don't need them. But the most important thing is not necessarily what the obstacles are, but how we choose to perceive them and react to them. Where one person sees crisis, another sees opportunity. Seen properly, everything that happens to us can be used as a way to move us forward. This means flipping the obstacles that life throws at us and improving not only in spite of them, but because of them. You see, more often than not, beneath the seemingly negative packaging of an obstacle is oftentimes something of real value, a gift of great benefit. You just have to know how to find it. Okay, so number 5 is bring yourself to the present moment. You see, sometimes the best way to see more clearly and see through the problems in our life is to actually allow our minds to relax. I know it goes against how all of us are wired to try and think our way out of a problem, but sometimes some of the best ideas and solutions come from when we allow our minds to relax. Some of the best ways to do this are to go outside for a 10 to 15 minute walk in nature, going outside for a run, or really any form of exercise, and of course, meditation or mindfulness. You see, what each of these things does is helps to take us out of our thinking minds and instead allows our minds to relax and focus on the present moment. And by doing this, you'll find that you'll naturally start to feel more calm, and you'll most likely start to see a little bit more clearly, and you might find that the problem or situation isn't as bad as you think it is. Okay, so number 6 is to tackle one problem at a time, or to break the problem down into smaller parts. See, sometimes life can throw multiple things at us at once, and if we try to get through them all at once, then we're most likely just going to become overwhelmed and just think that it's just too much. So the trick is, don't focus on it as a whole. Instead, break it down into smaller, manageable parts. In this way, you simply do what you need to do right now, complete it, and move on to the next task. And once you do this, you'll find that even the hardest tasks can become manageable, because what was once a mammoth task is now just a series of component parts. Think of the first time you were given an algebra equation at school. At first, it might have looked extremely confusing and you probably thought there was no way you were going to be able to figure it out. But once you stopped, slowed down, and broke the problem apart, you were able to isolate its variables, and all that was left was the answer. Okay, so number 7 is find your why. He who knows the why of his existence can bear almost any how. Viktor Frankl. Because when we have goals or something larger than ourselves to reach for, everything that happens to us from that point on is in service of our dream. Put simply, it becomes purposeful. You see, when we know what we are aiming for, the obstacles that come up in our lives will naturally start to seem smaller and more manageable. Another way of getting through the problems or obstacles in your life is finding a way that you can use it to help others. You see, whatever you are going through can be used as a source of strength by thinking of people other than yourself. You won't have time to focus on your hardship because you know that there are other people out there who are relying on you or who could benefit from your knowledge in the future. Be strong for others and it will make you stronger. For instance, you could take the situation that you're now in and all that you learn from it to benefit, teach, and inspire others. Okay, so number 8 is find the good in your situation. You see, no matter how bad the situation is, you can always find something to laugh about. You see, laughter and cheerfulness is important in all situations, good or bad. Okay, so number 9 is probably one of the most powerful ones, and it's just 4 simple words. This too shall pass. I still remember a time in my life when every possible thing seemed to be against me, and it felt like too much, and I thought that this was it. I just thought that this is the way things were going to be forever. I still remember to this day speaking to my dad on the phone, and he said to me, "Isaac, this too shall pass. And you know what? It did. Remember that all things come to pass, and this situation that you're now in, it will pass. And one day you'll look back and you may even be grateful for it happening because it led you down a better path or helped you to become the person you were destined to be. Always remember that this moment is not your life. It is just a moment in your life. Viktor Frankl once said, health, family, happiness, professional abilities, fortune, a position in society, all of these were things that could still be achieved. Whatever we had gone through could still be used as an asset to us in the future. Okay, so number 10, and this is probably the most powerful one of them all. Gratitude. You see, when problems arise in our lives, what we tend to do is get ourselves stuck in a negative mindset that prevents us from seeing all the good things that we still have in our life. No matter how bad things may be, there is always something to be grateful for. One of the best ways to practice gratitude is to get yourself a journal and every night write down at least 5 things that you're grateful for. Because what this will do is it will start to take your focus off of what you don't have and onto what you do have, which will instantly make you happier. Okay guys, well there you have it. There are the 10 ways that you can get through the times in your life when things are feeling a little difficult. Remember, we're all just humans trying to make our way through life, and all that we can ever do is our best. So whatever it is that you're going through right now, always remember that in life, it doesn't matter what happens to you or where you came from. What matters is what you do with what happens and the time that you've been given. Well, I hope this video has been able to help you in some way. If it did, be sure to hit the like button and consider sharing it with others who you think may benefit from this type of information. And if you think it would be worth it, then please consider subscribing. As always guys, learn, grow and inspire. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.